Have you ever felt a subtle, almost imperceptible pull on the strings of your own soul, a feeling that your choices, your desires, and even your moments of happiness might not be entirely your own? Have you ever paused in the silent moments between distractions and felt a deep, unsettling question arise? Am I truly free? This isn't just a philosophical pondering, it is a profound stirring of your spirit, a signal from your higher self that the very nature of your reality deserves a closer look. Aldous Huxley, a visionary who peered deep into the potential futures of humanity, once issued a chilling prophecy. A dictatorship based on scientific methods seems likely to be the most permanent of all forms of tyranny. He wasn't speaking of iron chains and overt oppression. He was speaking of a far more insidious form of control, a gilded cage built not of steel bars, but of endless, manufactured pleasure. A prison so comfortable, so entertaining, that its captives would not only fail to realize they are imprisoned, but they would come to love their servitude. This video is a beacon for the souls who have felt this unsettling truth in their core. It is a key for those who are ready to examine the invisible chains of modern society. If these words resonate with a truth you've long suspected, if you feel a stirring of awakening within you, then you are in the right place. Your journey of liberation begins now. Show your alignment by liking this message, subscribe to become part of a community of sovereign minds, and share your own experiences in the comments below. Let the world know you are not alone by typing "I resonate" or 777. And together, let's begin to dismantle the prison. Think carefully before you answer this next question, for the truth of it may shake the foundations of your perceived reality. Do you truly believe you are free? Let us walk through a day in the life of the modern soul. You awaken. Before your feet even touch the floor, before you offer a single thought of gratitude for the new day, your hand instinctively reaches for a small, glowing rectangle of glass and metal. Your phone. The first breath of the day is met not with conscious awareness, but with the cold, blue light of a screen, a portal to a universe of endless distraction. You scroll and scroll and scroll, pulled into a hypnotic river of fleeting novelties. Each new image, each short video, each headline provides a minuscule, almost unnoticeable jolt of dopamine, a tiny reward from a fickle master. This is the first link in the chain you forge for yourself each and every day. Something inside you, a deep, ancient part of your being, craves something more, something new, a constant stream of stimuli to shield you from a terrifying silence. Then, perhaps, comes the coffee, another ritual, another chemical surge to propel you forward. As you prepare for your day, you plug in your earphones, filling the precious quiet with a podcast, with music, with the voices of others, ensuring your own inner voice remains unheard. On your way to work or to your studies, you are not present with the world around you. You are submerged once again in the digital stream. You consume more and more social media feeds, breaking news alerts, incessant notifications that vibrate with a false sense of urgency, pulling your attention away from your own center. You are bombarded, saturated, overwhelmed with information and entertainment. And then, in those rare, fleeting moments when the noise finally ceases, perhaps in the quiet of a late-night walk or the pause before sleep, what happens? What sensation arises from the depths of your being? For so many, it is not peace. It is a profound and gnawing discomfort, an emptiness, a hollow ache that seems to demand, to scream, to be filled with something, with anything. This is the moment the programming kicks in with its full, irresistible force. This discomfort is the signal that forces you to seek yet another distraction, to grasp for another hit of immediate, disposable pleasure. You reach for the remote, you open another app, you pour another drink, you seek another fleeting connection, all in a desperate attempt to soothe the ache, to outrun the emptiness. The problem, you must understand, is not pleasure itself. The divine, in its infinite wisdom, designed pleasure as a fundamental and sacred tool of the human experience. It is a natural, evolutionary mechanism, a compass that points us toward what nourishes us, what connects us, what keeps us alive. The warmth of a shared meal, the joy of deep connection, the satisfaction of creative expression. These are the whispers of source energy, guiding us toward alignment and survival. But what happens when this sacred tool is hijacked? What happens when pleasure ceases to be a gentle guide and instead becomes the very prison itself? This is the core of the Huxleyan prophecy, a reality that is unfolding around us with terrifying precision. The relentless need to feel good, to feel anything other than the discomfort of our own inner world, has made us captives. We have become ensnared in an endless, looping cycle of instant gratification, a hedonistic treadmill that promises fulfillment but delivers only a deeper sense of lack. While George Orwell, in his classic work 1984, warned humanity of a future defined by brutal repression, of a world controlled by pain, fear, and constant surveillance, stark, visible cage of iron and terror, Aldous Huxley envisioned something far more subtle and therefore far more dangerous. He foresaw a world where the chains would be invisible, where the walls of the prison would be decorated with the most captivating forms of entertainment. He envisioned a future where people would not need to be forced to obey, because they would be so thoroughly and completely entertained, so utterly overwhelmed with a tsunami of pleasurable stimuli, so addicted to the next dose of distraction that the thought of rebellion, of questioning, of seeking a deeper truth, would simply never occur to them. In Huxley's Brave New World, the citizens were not controlled by threats, but by the pacifying, mind-numbing drug called soma. They were conditioned from birth to love their servitude, to celebrate their own enslavement, because their slavery was wrapped in the beautiful, glittering paper of constant, effortless pleasure. A world where true freedom, with all its challenges, responsibilities, and discomforts, was traded for a shallow, predictable, and manufactured happiness. Now, I ask you to look away from this screen for just a moment. Look around you. Look at your own life, your own habits, your own society. What do you truly see? Do you not see the echoes of this prophecy everywhere? We live in a society utterly obsessed with entertainment, a culture that worships at the altar of distraction. We consume pleasure without limits, seeking immediate relief for any flicker of discomfort, any hint of boredom, any whisper of existential dread. We have become masters of avoidance, experts at numbing the quiet yearning of our souls with a cacophony of digital noise and sensory overload. But at what cost? What is the true price of this relentless pursuit of instant happiness? Is this endless chase for the next dopamine hit truly liberating you, or is it, in fact, keeping you trapped in the most sophisticated prison ever designed? A prison with no visible walls, no audible locks, but one that confines the spirit more effectively than any physical dungeon. In this very video, we will continue to explore how our modern world masterfully conditions us to seek pleasure as the ultimate form of control. We will uncover why this dependency, this addiction to feeling good, may be transforming you into something you never imagined you could be: a voluntary slave, a happy servant in a system that thrives on your passivity. If you believe with absolute certainty that you are in complete control of your own mind, that your desires are purely your own, then I urge you, you had better keep watching. Because maybe, just maybe, you will discover that you never were.
Have you ever felt it, that relentless low hum vibrating in the core of your being, whispering that something about you always needs to be fixed? Fix your schedule, fix your mindset, fix your relationships, fix every perceived flaw. It's a subtle, suffocating current that drags you through each day, convincing you that you are nothing more than a never-ending self-improvement project with no finish line in sight. If this feels like your truth, if your soul feels the quiet exhaustion of endless repair, pause, breathe deeply. This message has found you for a reason. It is not coincidence, it is your divine guidance, a signpost on your path of awakening. If these words resonate within you, let the universe know like this message. Subscribe to receive more soul-aligned wisdom and share your experience in the comments below. Type "I am enough" or "I am ready to let go" to declare your shift, your readiness to step off the treadmill of endless fixing. In doing so, you remind us all that we are not walking this path alone. What if I told you that this very compulsion to fix, to endlessly repair every flaw, is the sacred paradox that keeps you misaligned? That the frantic energy you pour into mending the cracks is the very thing blocking the divine light meant to shine through them? We've been conditioned by a world intoxicated with the illusion of imperfection, taught that our worth lies in solving, managing, controlling, but this is a profound misreading of the universe's law. The urge to fix is not strength, it is vibrational fear disguised as productivity. It's the ego's desperate attempt to dam the wild, sacred river of your life, forcing it into the narrow, man-made canals of predictability safe, yes, but severed from the vast, life-giving ocean of your true power. Your life is not a problem to be solved, not a machine to be recalibrated. It is a living, breathing masterpiece meant to be felt, witnessed, and surrendered to. Imagine holding a knotted thread of golden light. The more you yank and tug in your panic to undo it, the tighter the knot pulls against itself. But if you pause, breathe, simply holding it with patience and reverence, the knot begins to soften, to loosen in your gentle hands. This is the essence of alignment. To trust that by releasing control, by softening your grip, you allow the elegant intelligence of the cosmos to do what it does best: unfold in perfection. Every time you try to fix from fear, you are silently telling the universe you don't trust its timing, its wisdom. And that resistance is the very frequency keeping you tangled, repeating cycles, chasing clarity that only comes when you finally let go. When you finally give yourself permission to truly stop the endless fixing, striving, and micromanaging, something extraordinary begins to unfold. In that sacred pause, a profound spiritual shift awakens within you. Suddenly, the world is no longer distorted by the frantic projections of your fearful ego, and you begin to see things as they truly are. You realize that not every crack in your foundation is a flaw to be patched. Some are portals for the light to enter, revelations of where your true strength resides. You understand that silence is not a void to be filled with noise, but a sanctuary where the voice of your higher self finally has space to speak. In that quiet stillness, clarity arises not from your mind, but from your soul, and with it, true transformation begins. Because real, lasting change, the kind that rewrites destinies, doesn't emerge from the vibration of force or control. It is born from the courageous frequency of allowing. So I ask you, what if letting things be is the most powerful first step toward letting them transform? There's a reason your greatest insights, your clearest epiphanies, often arrive only after you've surrendered, not out of defeat, but out of reverent release. It is the soul's whisper to the universe. I've done all I can from this level of awareness. I release. I trust. I allow the divine to take the lead. In that single moment of surrender, the entire energetic landscape of your life rearranges itself. You shift from doing to being, and that shift, that changes everything.
Have you ever truly wondered why it is so hard to stop? Why, even when you know, with every fiber of your being, that you should be focusing on something productive, something meaningful, your hand automatically, almost magically, glides toward your phone. Your brain begs, it pleads, for a new notification, a new video, a new stimulus to quiet the unease. This, my friend, does not happen by chance. You have been trained for it. From the very moment we are born into this world, we are subtly and pervasively conditioned to avoid discomfort at all costs. The educational system, for the most part, does not teach us to think critically, to question deeply, to sit with uncertainty. Instead, it rewards us for repeating information, for providing the correct answers, for conforming to a pre-existing structure. The job market then programs us to produce, to be efficient cogs in a larger machine, not to reflect, not to ponder our deeper purpose. And enveloping all of this is the culture of entertainment, a relentless 24/7 barrage that delivers constant distractions, ensuring that we never have to stop and question the world around us, or more importantly, the world within us. The sum of all this creates a society where the real threat to the established order is not an authoritarian government that prohibits freedom of expression, but a system that masterfully makes us lose all interest in seeking it in the first place. Huxley understood this better than anyone. In his Brave New World, the citizens did not need to be brutally repressed. They were simply taught to love their own slavery. From early childhood, they were subjected to processes of hypnopedia messages repeated during sleep that shaped their beliefs and desires without them ever realizing it. Phrases like, "everyone belongs to everyone," and "a gram of soma solves everything," were etched deep into their subconscious minds, ensuring they never questioned anything. They grew up believing, with unshakable conviction, that happiness lay in conformity, in avoiding any deep thought, in fleeing from any shadow of suffering. Now, think about how this is reflected in our own reality. Today's conditioning may not happen through literal sleep learning, but it happens through the pervasive and powerful algorithms of social media, through the sophisticated strategies of corporate marketing, and through the endless flood of stimuli that shape your behavior without you ever consciously noticing. Every time you receive a notification, your brain releases a tiny squirt of dopamine. Every time a short video delivers a new piece of information effortlessly, you get used to not having to think for yourself. And every time you are rewarded for conforming, whether through social validation like likes or through the immediate pleasures of consumption, you reinforce the idea that this is the right and only path. The effect of this is the creation of an entire generation of people who are increasingly incapable of being alone with their own thoughts, incapable of dealing with discomfort, and therefore incapable of questioning the system because they have simply lost the habit of thinking critically. In the end, a formal dictatorship is not needed to control the masses when they themselves willingly reject any idea, any activity, any thought that requires mental effort. But this rejection of critical thinking, this flight from all discomfort, comes at a terrible price. When we avoid discomfort at all costs, we end up becoming more fragile, more manipulable, and more vulnerable. The constant pursuit of manufactured happiness actually weakens us, turning us into increasingly passive beings, waiting for the next external fix to make us feel whole. But how does this truly happen? How can the promise of a world without pain lead us to a state of complete and utter submission? This is what we will now explore in the next part of our journey. Have you ever felt like a stranger in your own life, performing a role you never auditioned for? Have you ever heard a whisper from deep within, a voice that feels more real than the one you speak with every day? This is not a coincidence. It is a divine signal, an activation of your soul's deepest contract with the universe. You are being called to remember, not to become. The journey isn't about adding more layers, but courageously peeling back the ones that were never truly yours to begin with. If this frequency resonates with your spirit, let the universe know you're listening. Like this message, subscribe for more divine guidance. And if you've ever felt this profound pull, affirm it in the comments with a simple, "I am ready," or the numbers 111 or 777 to anchor this energy. You are not alone on this sacred path. You believe you know who you are. You have a name, a collection of memories, a personality that has been polished and presented to the world. You have a job title, a list of accomplishments, a web of relationships that define your place. You've constructed an identity, a fortress of preference and habit, a carefully curated gallery of who you are supposed to be. But feel into this for a moment. Is this you? Or is it a breathtakingly intricate costume? A suit of armor you put on so long ago you've forgotten the feeling of your own skin? Carl Jung, a guide for the soul's deepest explorations, would gently tell you that what you call you is, in fact, your persona. It's the mask, the meticulously crafted public face, the diplomat you send out to negotiate with the world. It's a performance, one that began as a survival mechanism and, through sheer repetition, became your perceived reality. It is the sum total of what others expected of you, what you were praised for, what you learned you had to be in order to be loved, to be safe, to be accepted. And the truth is, most souls would rather live and die in this persona than risk the shattering liberation of being real. They would rather maintain the predictable comfort of a cage they know than step into the wild, chaotic freedom of their own true nature. They'd rather be consistently liked than authentically whole. They prefer the fiction of a clean, manageable identity to the overwhelming, magnificent reality of what it means to be a complete human being, full of light and shadow. But you are still here. You are still listening. That means a sacred part of you is stirring. A deep, ancient hunger is awakening within your frequency. Not for more information, not for another fleeting dose of motivation, but for yourself. The real you, the one you exiled. The one you buried beneath a mountain of shoulds, and what will they thinks, and what if I'm too much. Understand this. This is not a gentle conversation. This is a confrontation. A holy war within your own soul. You are on the precipice of meeting the very parts of you that you have spent a lifetime running from. You are being called to dig up the bones you buried as a child, to face the quiet rebellion that beats like a drum in your chest every time you pretend, every time you shrink, every time you betray your own truth for the comfort of others. This is the sacred process of individuation. This is the path of becoming. And now, let us begin. Carl Jung didn't see the self as a treasure you stumble upon, a prize you win at the end of a quest. He saw it as a divine integration, an alchemical masterpiece that you forge in the fires of self-awareness. It is something you become, but only after you have had the courage to face the fragments. You don't discover yourself by taking another personality quiz, or by chasing a passion that is merely another distraction, or by writing your goals on a whiteboard. These are activities of the persona. They are about adding more decoration to the mask. The true work, the sacred work, is found by turning inward, into the dark, into the chaos, into the shadow. And that word, shadow, is the key that unlocks everything. It holds the divine blueprint for your wholeness. Jung defined the shadow as the sum of everything you have repressed. It is every part of yourself you have deemed unacceptable, unworthy, or too dangerous to exist. It is the anger you swallowed, the selfishness you denied, the raw ambition you were told was unseemly. It is the sacred desires you buried, the wild creativity you tamed, the thoughts you weren't allowed to think. The shadow is the collection of all the versions of you that did not win approval from your parents, your teachers, your society. Over time, that pile of rejected divinity grew, and to survive, to keep the peace, to be loved, you had to split. You created a personate version of you that was allowed to exist, the polite one, the agreeable one, the predictable, safe one. And this persona, this mask, it helped you. It helped you fit in. It helped you get praised. It helped you stay loved. And that is exactly why we are constantly bombarded with stimuli that divert us from this sacred search. Because a person with purpose is a dangerous person, dangerous to a system that thrives on our emotional dependence and our passive consumption. So if you feel that something is missing in your life, that there is a void that no amount of entertainment can fill, perhaps the answer is not to seek more pleasure, but to seek less. Perhaps the path to true freedom is not to find more distractions, but to courageously eliminate the excess of them. And the most important question you need to ask yourself is this: what truly moves you? What makes you get out of bed in the morning with a fire in your soul? Are you living off a diet of disposable pleasures? Or are you building something that really, truly matters? But how do you escape this trap? How do you break the cycle and regain autonomy over your own mind? That is what we will uncover in the final part of this message. Now that you understand how the relentless pursuit of pleasure can keep you trapped in a cycle of dependency, the most important question arises: how do you escape this trap? How do you regain control of your own mind in a world that does everything in its power to keep you distracted, doped, and emotionally dependent? The first thing you need to understand is that this is not an easy fight. The system is designed for you to fail. It wants you to keep seeking quick pleasures, to keep feeding the algorithms with your attention, to keep consuming endlessly. But there is a way out, and it starts with your conscious decision to become aware of the game that is being played against you. The first and most crucial strategy to break this cycle is the practice of strategic deprivation of pleasure. This does not mean you need to become a reclusive ascetic and reject any form of fun or joy, but rather, it means that you should learn to consciously and deliberately regulate your exposure to the most addictive and mind-numbing stimuli. When you deprive yourself of certain pleasures for a period of time, such as a fast from social media, a break from ultra-processed food, or a detox from compulsive entertainment consumption, something truly interesting and powerful happens. Your brain begins to recalibrate. It starts to find satisfaction and joy in the small, simple things again, and the unrestrained, desperate desire for artificial stimuli begins to lose its powerful grip on your will. The second step is to rebuild your tolerance for discomfort. If you truly want to regain your autonomy, you need to relearn how to deal with boredom, frustration, and the lack of constant external stimuli. This means consciously allowing yourself to be silent, disconnecting from the endless flood of information, and simply existing without the compulsive need to fill every moment with some form of distraction. At first, this will be incredibly difficult. Your brain, long accustomed to constant spikes of dopamine, will scream and demand more. But if you can resist, if you can hold your ground in the face of this inner turmoil, you will begin to notice something powerful. You will discover that discomfort does not kill you. In fact, it strengthens you. It is in the soil of boredom that creativity grows. It is in the silence that you can finally hear the whisper of your own soul. The third step is to actively cultivate critical thinking. Ask yourself constantly, why do I feel this need to distract myself all the time? Who truly benefits from my addiction to pleasure? What could I be doing? What could I be creating if I weren't trapped in this cycle of instant gratification? The more you question, the more you will realize that a large part of your habits and desires were not truly chosen by you. They were programmed by the system. But only those who dare to ask themselves these hard questions can begin to rewrite their own destiny. The fourth step, and perhaps the most important of all, is to replace the pursuit of pleasure with the pursuit of purpose. As we discussed earlier, the search for meaning is the true antidote to the slavery of immediate pleasure. So ask yourself, what really matters to me? What do I want to build in this world? How can I make my life more meaningful? These are difficult, profound questions, but they are the only ones that truly matter. But there is a problem. Even if you start to break free from this cycle, the society around you will still be deeply immersed in it. And when you decide to change, something inevitable happens. People around you will begin to see you differently. Some will admire you. Others will reject you. Some will feel uncomfortable with your change because when you free yourself, you also become a mirror, reflecting what others do not want to see in themselves. They will try to pull you back, convincing you that there's nothing wrong with the system, that life is meant to be enjoyed without much thought. But now, you know the truth. Pleasure without purpose is just another form of slavery, so the choice is yours. You can continue living as before, distracting yourself, seeking the next dose of dopamine, ignoring the growing sense of emptiness inside you. Or you can decide to take back control of your mind, build a purpose, and become someone who is not easily manipulated. But I want to know, what will you choose? Have you ever felt trapped in this cycle? Have you noticed how society uses pleasure as a form of control? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts, because questioning is the first step to freedom. And if this video has made you see the world differently, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Here, we don't just go with the flow. We question, we reflect, and we seek to understand the truths that no one wants you to see. If you want to continue this journey of self-discovery and liberation, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. See you in the next video.